Good morning, and thanks so much for tuning into the trade setup. I'm Neeraj Shah. Apologies for being a couple of minutes late, the setup isn't the most positive because the S&P 500 did post the fifth day of losses and closed near the 100-day moving average. So if you see the U.S. markets, there's some losses. I mean, nothing too dramatic, but there was some losses for the U.S. markets for sure. The other indicators, in fact, the dollar index corrected against a clutch of other stocks. So we're currently about point up 1.4, but near that 105 mark. The CBOE VIX steady at 22.5 for US 10-year yield 3.45. If that has come off even more, and the SGX Nifty should be indicating a flattish start, maybe marginally lower or marginally higher, but should be flattish to maybe marginally lower chances. Yeah, I mean flattish really. So hardly anything to choose there, and pretty much in line with what the world markets are doing. Frankly, that's the trade setup. I think our indices would find it very, very difficult to really buck the global trend and post policy statement yesterday. If so, I was mentioning yesterday that BFSI could have a bit of a positive surprise if indeed the statement was dovish. The policy statement wasn't dovish. You could argue that it is mildly bordering on hawkish compared to what the street was working with, as a result of which currently doesn't seem like there is some strong momentum out there for the for equities per se. I think we await fresh triggers. Let's see if the Fed commentary provides that or otherwise. The Nifty PCR declined from 0.91 day before to 0.77 yesterday. Usually from 0.6 odd mark, it tends to take a bit of a reversal. Is that some time away or immediately? Who knows? Because quant indicators currently point to higher probabilities for downside versus upticks. There was some traction seen in oil marketing companies though, and technical indicators are positive for some more upside. Let's wait and watch if we have the BPCLs and the HPCLs of the world make some positive moves in the sessions today or in the sessions to come. It's a very flat day, arguably today. Let's wait and watch how it goes. It will not be flat for one company for sure, which is Dhamaraj. The Dhamaraj Crop Guard IPO, which was subscribed heavily, 35 times, in fact, will now start trading today. The IPO was at about 237 rupees per share, or at 237 rupees per share. Very interesting to see how much higher it opens, and post that, what can it do in the hours today. Let's jump straight to stocks to watch. It need not necessarily be a long trade setup if there is no need for it. So let's get to stocks and try and figure out what will move likely and what will not. So Macrotech could be in focus. It's launched the QIP consisting of an OFS to meet the minimum public shareholding norms. Remember, the promoter shareholding is at 82.2% currently. I don't have personal confirmation. There are some reports talking about how it could be the QIP for an entire 7%. Or 7.2% or 7.3% to bring the shareholding below 75%. Let's wait and watch if it's that large an offering. The floor price is at 1022.75. The key is, viewers, it's not that the floor price is below the current market price, but that if that whole offering gets subscribed to, then it could actually augur to be positive for Macrotech developers. Much like HDFC AMC yesterday, a large supply, which was believed to be coming, would be out of the way, and that could be construed positively. Remember, HDFC AMC was up about 3.5%, 4% in the session yesterday. A dull session and a predictable move in HDFC AMC. You could very well see something similar in Macrotech if indeed the demand for the QIP is pretty strong. So let's wait and watch what happens to Macrotech. I would suspect this is not negative, even if the floor price for the QIP is lower than the current price. What should be positive is the two of the life insurance companies, and not LIC, by the way. LIC is listed. I'm looking at the private life insurance companies retail APE growth numbers. SBI Life was up about the growth was about 30%. HDFC Life growth was about 48%. Very strong retail APE growth. Not so much for ICICI Pru or Max Life. So you might well see those stocks being not so excited, but we could actually see HDFC Life in particular do well, across cohorts, time cohorts, I mean, which is for the month of November or for the other periods. HDFC Life has actually done well. So you might well see that stock having a pretty decent outing in the session today. Very likely. Let's wait and watch if that happens. By the way, I've missed out on mentioning, just before I move on to the next piece of news, I've missed out on mentioning Triveni Engineering. I think there's a large block from the promoter entities today, up to the tune of 7%, if I'm not wrong, and therefore Triveni Engineering should certainly be in focus as well. In fact, let me just tell you, I think, yeah, 7.03% equity. So got to watch out for that. Ambit is the broker for that, and the pricing. Uh, 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 yeah, price range is about 280 to 285 rupees per share, which is about 3 to 4.7% discount to the current market price of 293.95. So watch out for Triveni as well, in addition to Macrotech. Then HCL Technologies, it's tied up with Intel and Marviner for 5G enterprise solutions. Now, everybody's realizing that telecom vertical needs to be strong per se. Tech Mahindra has it for the 5G rollout. Some others have it. HCL Tech trying to do that. Let's wait and watch if the market takes this announcement positively. Intel is a strong player, so therefore good to have. Um, okay, Okay, let me first talk about the two bulk deals, and then we'll show you the table of the movers and shakers as well. Um, so Knowledge Marine and Engineering Works, Himalaya Finance and Investment Company bought about 55,000 shares yesterday at 875. Stylum Industries, a Bacchus Asset Manager LLP, bought about 3.5 lakh shares, which is about 2.06%. And both of those stocks were amongst the top movers on the volume jump and the price volume action piece yesterday. So that table will come up on your screen next, and you will see some stocks. Knowledge Marine, I think certainly there, Stylem there, and a couple of others. Yeah, Knowledge Marine was up about 11.9%. Volumes were about 6 times 2-week average. Stylem Industries up about 4.38%. Volumes at about 8.3 times 2 weeks average. Gujarat Ambuja Exports up about 8.8%. Volumes 5.4 times the 2-week average. And Heikel was up about 9.6% yesterday. Volumes at 5 times. This stock, due to various reasons and the right reasons, was beaten down out of shape, I think in 2020 or 21, can't remember which. It's making a bit of a comeback for itself. So interesting moves for those stocks. Then some key corporate appointments included ONGC, Vatek Wabag, and Everready Industries. ONGC now has a chairman, Harun Kumar Singh, and Vatek Wabag has managing director and group CEO Pankaj Malhan. So interesting appointments there. Some analyst actions included Hero MotoCorp, which is cut to a hold at HSBC, price target 3130. Maruti Suzuki, after ICICI Securities rating it a buy. Mirae Asset Devu is rated it a new buy as well. And Tata Motors ADRs have been cut to a hold at HSBC, price target of 28. I suspect why this is happening. In Tata Motors, um, in Tata Motors, because of the global slowdown, it could be a problem. But keep in mind, for Tata Motors, China opening up could maybe construed as a positive. So there are opposing forces at play. There were opposing forces anyways. I mean, while the US consumer demand was strong, China was undergoing its issues. Now China is opening up, but we know that the West might have some issues. So it would be very interesting to see what happens to Tata Motors in the near term, and maybe which is why the ADR is a hold at HSBC. You don't quite know which way, one way or the other. The announcement that I will again miss to give graphics for, but Lumax Industries, a small one, but interesting one. They've announced a capex of about 175 crores for a project which will get commissioned in Q2. And they say that the peak revenue potential of the project is about 600 crores. So pretty strong. The only thing to understand, and I think at some point of time in the day, my colleague Hiral will be talking to the management, is about whether the Capex turn of 175 crores, or the Capex announcement of 175 crores for phase one, does that phase one enable the company to earn 600 crores, or we need to do more Capex for the same? So, but an interesting announcement, and to keep Lumax also as a company in focus this morning. So these are a few names that you should be monitoring. Watch out, it's a flattish day. Presumably, you might probably see some announcements or some movements in the stocks that I have mentioned. The life insurance companies, HDFC Life and SBI Life in particular, Stylum Industries as well, maybe Macrotech, Triveni Engineering as well. So all of these could be in focus. There is Ujjivan SFB, which has received the approval of RBI for reappointment of Vitita Davis as MD and CEO for a period of 2 years. So some continuity there, and that should help that small finance bank. It's gone through its own share of pulls and pressures. Ujjivan Small Finance Bank for sure, and therefore could be an interesting one in the session today. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. Have a great day ahead, and stay safe.